Hi guys, welcome to Talus Devlog 1. In this video, we will take a look at the first 10-15 minutes or so of the gameplay of Talus. I was thinking about what to do the Devlog number 1 on, and there's lots of things I could talk about, but I figured maybe just showing you some of the initial gameplay is going to be the best thing to show you, really, to give you an idea of what the game's going to play like. So just before we jump in, straight in, unscripted, just a couple of notes. First of all, we do have a dedicated Discord server for Talus where we discuss balancing, and design and stuff like that. So if you're interested in Talus, the project, make sure to join the Discord server. You can find the link in the description down below. And also, Talus is available on Steam to wishlist. So if you like the project, it would help the algorithm out a lot if you wishlisted it, so please consider doing that. And finally, another note is just please bear in mind that what I'm about to show you is pre-alpha footage of the game. This is so far from the final implementation. Loads of things are bound to change, so keep that in mind. And especially the artwork is really going to change. Like, I'm not an artist. I'm so far from an artist. It's crazy. But anyway, I've been trying to just put together some basic art just so that you could visualize and see what the gameplay is going to be like. But so far, I'm focusing on gameplay, and the game system and mechanics. And the art is something that, is going to be taken care of a little bit later. And on that note, I am looking for a pixel artist to onboard. So if you are a pixel artist or you know a pixel artist who might be interested in the project, let them know, let me know. I would be happy to hear from you. I am looking to get an actual artist on board to improve the art. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's just jump in. So let's begin by creating a character. At the moment, we have 3 classes available: Mage, Warrior, and Ranger. We're just going to start with Ranger. I think this one is kind of interesting, just to showcase some of the basic abilities and gameplay of Talus. So we're just going to call him Kuznia Devlog 1. Yep. And we just begin on this new island. There's going to be some sort of prologue or sort of tutorial explaining the backstory of the character in the future. For the time being, you just kind of spawn in at this island. You've come in on a boat and you just appear on this new island. So first of all, we're going to go into the skill tree. And we're going to talk a little bit about how the skill tree works, what abilities there are. So you can see a passive tree. I mean, I'm not really going to cover this one too much. This is sort of more of like a late game mechanic where you're going to be investing into the passive tree. To begin with, you're going to be interested in the other 5 windows, which are basic class abilities, core class abilities, utility abilities, auras, and curses. So first of all, basic class abilities and core class abilities are abilities that are specific to the particular class. So Ranger has their own, Mage has their own, Warrior has their own, etc. While utility abilities, auras, and curses are same for all classes. So those are kind of like shared common abilities, whereas those basic and core abilities are class specific. So what is a basic ability? We're going to begin by choosing an explosive arrow, which is kind of like an area of effect ranged arrow. We're going to pick that up to assign it so that we have it available. Then we're going to give it assign a few talent points to it. Nothing major for now. And yeah, I've given myself, if you can see here in the top left, I've given myself 50 skill points to begin with on level 1, just to showcase some abilities in this video. Obviously, when you start the game, when it's released, you'll have like 1 or 2 points to begin with, and then you gain an extra point with each level. So anyway, so this is a basic ability. And a basic ability, if you're coming from Tibia, basically works kind of like the auto attack in Tibia. It has a 2-second cooldown by default. It can be further reduced via some sort of items and modifiers. You can get as low as 0.5 seconds per auto attack in Talus. This is the floor if you have loads of like talents and items which affect basic attack cooldown, and it attacks automatically. And this is where you select it. You can only have 1 active. So we've just chosen the explosive arrow just to showcase how that one works. There's 4 more at the moment for Ranger. So we're going to pick up a core class ability. I think we're going to choose Cluster Bomb as the first ability for the Ranger. And this is an active ability which shoots an arrow at your target. And then also, after it hits the main target, it shoots a few arrows at nearby targets. So we're just going to go with that. We'll assign a few talent points to that as well, just so we have something. Then in utility abilities, we're going to assign Blink. just basic 1 point. We're going to assign focus and we're going to assign recovery. So blink is kind of like if you play Diablo 2, it's like teleport in Diablo 2. It just instantaneously moves you a few tiles, few squares in the direction that you're facing. We have focus, which recovers your mana based on number of nearby enemies and also temporarily increases your mana regeneration. So this helps with mana management. And we have recovery, which recovers health on use and increases maximum health and health regeneration during its effect. So this is like a healing spell. And we're going to go with an aura. You can only have one aura active at a time. So this is the limiting factor. You can have, there are some unique items in the game which will allow you to increase the amount of auras you can have active. But at this point, we're only going to have one active. So as we're going with an explosive arrow build, this is kind of like AoE build, we're going to go with aura called Ember Storm. And this is something that increases your fire damage, but also it has talents which make enemies explode on death. Like this one, while this aura is active, there's a 5% chance for enemies to explode on death and deal a lot of damage nearby. So this is something we're going to assign, and I think that should be it. So we're going to now assign all the abilities in the hotkey bar. So this is a cluster bomb, this is blink, this is focus, recovery, and Ember Storm. And now that we have our character set up for some gameplay, we're going to go and kill some monsters. So we begin by activating the aura. I've just clicked it and now we have it active. You can see a little tooltip in the top that tells you what you have active, what buffs you have active and what they do. And let's go and find our first monster. Aha, so we found Desert Feline. And sometimes you get little tutorials when something happens, and you know, this one we have a combat and basic attacks tutorial. So this tells you a little bit about your combat. So we're going to skip all tutorials for now because I don't really want to go into those too much. But obviously, when you start playing for the first time, you might want to actually, you know, read those tutorials to know what to do. And yeah, we're just going to be running around using our explosive arrow, attacking the enemies, and hopefully we're going to get some better items. And let's see if we can complete the first quest in the first island. And do keep in mind that this is basically supposed to be like the tutorial level, right? So it's not going to be crazy with loads and loads of like enemies. It's supposed to, we've leveled up, so we basically just gained an extra skill point. Obviously you regain health and mana on level up as well. Here we're going to pause just real quickly. As you can see, I have a target right here, and this is a magic monster, which means it has an additional modifier, an enemy modifier, which is something that, you know, the extra thing that the enemy can do. This enemy has the immobilizer modifier, which means they can kind of stop you from moving for 25.25 seconds, 250 milliseconds. And they sometimes apply that on you, and then you can basically not move. And you know, there's like 50 different modifiers at this point that enemies can have. Magic monsters have one modifier. Rare monsters, which we'll hopefully run into in a moment, have 3 modifiers. So this one has fast. This one right here, that means it can move faster. We have thorns on this one, which means I take some damage from him when I attack him. They reflect some of the damage. And we dropped our first item. This is a normal item, a dowsing amulet. We're going to put that on in a minute. And we have a rare monster right here. So we're going to use the cluster bomb on it. And it's cold resistant, crit resistant, and fire resistant. Basically, it's a tough enemy. So we've dropped a couple of blue items, basically magic items, a rare item, got some gold, got a gemstone. I'm not going to talk too much about gemstones. Those are items that will be used for crafting items. And I think my devlog number 2, the next one in a few weeks, is going to cover crafting. So we'll talk about this a little bit later in the next video. But for now, let's keep on moving. And let's just get on with it and complete this first zone. I'm going to use blink. Hop. I'm not sure if you caught that. Basically, that was how blink works. It just, wherever you're moving when you press, let's try again. Hop. Yeah, it moved me in the direction I was facing. Aha, and now we've come to the first NPC. This is a guard in front of a village called Nilehaven. At the moment, we can't enter the village because it's trapped. And we have a quick little quest that we're going to pick up. I'm not going to show you the quest because at the moment it's all sort of like basic generated stuff. It's not actually the real story or quest or lore that will be in this game. I haven't yet done this part of the game. I still have to figure out the actual sort of quests and lore of the island and what the purpose of the game is going to be. I haven't figured it out, so we're just going to skip through that, conversation with the NPC, but basically we have to go south of him and find these sort of corrupted creatures and kill 10 of them. Once we've killed 10 of them, we'll be able to proceed and enter the village. So we're just going to get on with that. This is a tough one. Fast basic attack, thorns, and point blank. Point blank means that he deals like 100% more damage if he's right next to you. So let's keep our distance. Let's kill off all those enemies. And we'll equip some items, I think, after we've got our first rare item and an antitoxin ring. So we're going to pick those up and equip them after we've killed all those monsters. We have to be careful of those cobras because they apply poison, which is quite dangerous at this level. As you can see, my health ticking down. I have to pay attention. And those apply poison, those fields there on the floor as well. Got a longbow there. Another ring. Okay, so let's equip some of the items. So this is our inventory. First of all, we're going to have a look at this ring. So it's giving us some all resistances, some poison resistance, some fire damage, damage against poison, energy damage, dodge rating, and 1% chance to cast Inflame on hit. That's actually quite a cool modifier. Inflame is a curse, and that curses all enemies in a certain area to take more fire damage. So this ring gives us 1% chance that we're going to cast this automatically on hit. So we're going to equip that one. Then we have some basic items. You know, we have like these are normal items, so they don't have any special modifiers. So we're just, you know, they'll give us some like basic stats, like some extra damage, some resistances. These gloves give us a little bit of dexterity and dodge rating. So let's equip whatever we have. Here we have energy damage and energy resistance on this ring. We can't equip the wands because they require the class mage, obviously. Just like the bow requires the class ranger, which we are. And we should have a little bit more damage now. And also what we're going to do, I'm going to show you... Oh, this was an explosion, by the way, that you see an enemy died during the Ember Storm aura, and that was an explosion, in case you wanted to see what that looks like. And we're going to assign an extra passive point into the explosive arrow to give it an extra +1 size to show you the bigger size of the explosive arrow. There's also some unique items which increase the size further. If you get, they're quite rare, but if you get all of the unique items increasing the size of it, you can already, oh look, you can already see that it's bigger now. And if you get all the unique items which increase the size of the explosive arrow, it's really big. It's like it's like the size is the size of the screen, and it's really damn fun when you actually have it like that. It's very strong, so it's quite rare and quite difficult to obtain those unique items, but it's very fun when you do. Something I haven't talked about as well, you can see in the bottom of the screen next to the basic attack, you have potions, you have health and mana potions. The base variation of those potions, they recover 30% of your max health and 30% of your maximum mana on use, and they have a 30-second cooldown. So that's how they work. There won't be any potion spamming, you know, every second. Most of your regeneration will be handled via passive modifiers. So you'll be having like basic health regeneration per second, mana regeneration per second. You'll have stuff like health on hit, health on kill, mana on hit, mana on kill, etc. So that potions are like a last resort, and it's not something that you have to rely on and spam. So we've picked up a couple of unique items. I'm not sure if you saw that there. We've killed the monsters that we needed to. So we're just gonna go to the guard now. We're going to complete the quest, and we're going to go into Nile Haven, which is the first city of the game. So we're in Nile Haven now. We can see a village elder. He has a quest available for us, so I'll speak to him in a moment. In the middle here, we have a waypoint. So waypoints work in such a way that you can fast travel between places. They work exactly the same like waypoints work in Diablo 2. If you've played Diablo 2, you know, you just connect them all over the world and you just travel between them. Here we have a stash, which we'll take a look at in a moment. There you have a few like random NPCs who you can talk to get some like tips and lore of the city and stuff. So it's nothing, yeah, like this one says, make sure to grab the waypoint. You know, it's kind of stuff like that. It's kind of like, this kind of similar like in Pokemon, I guess. I don't know if you've played Pokemon and you talk to like random NPCs in town and they just give you little tips, stuff like that. So that's basically the idea of these sort of non-quest NPCs. Here we have a default humanoid models, so these don't have yet the, you know, the skins, the sprites, so ignore the way they look. That's the base model. Basically we have a merchant and reforger which do some crafting. We'll take a look at the merchant. I guess we can take a look at the merchant now. So the merchant can sell you some items. This is like a gambler in Diablo 2. Again, if you played the Diablo 2 and you gamble, you can get a random item. In Talus, the items are quite expensive. the gambling is quite expensive, but you are guaranteed at least a rare item. You can't get normal or magic item through the gambler, so basically it's quite good. We're going to, I guess, get a couple of items from the gambler just to fill out our chest, boots, and quiver slot. So let's have a look. Let's get a chest. Let's get some boots, and let's get a quiver. So we pick those up here from the gambler. Let's have a look what they've given us. In the armor, we have some health, we have some strength, we have some increased health, magic shield on hit, and some poison resistance. So we're going to get that on. In the boots, we have some magic shield, mana, cold resistance, dodge rating. And in the quiver, we have some magic shield, dexterity, intelligence, and some more resistances. So that's all cool. What else? Maybe we can gamble for a better bow as well. Oh, we have we've got a unique bow. I'm not sure if I want to actually use this one. This one is pretty strong, but I'm thinking about changing to a different build to showcase a different build, and it's not really going to work too well with this one, I think. So we're going to skip that for now. We'll just put on one of those. And we're going to do a poison build, and I can see we have like 5% increased poison damage on this bow, so we're probably just going to equip that one. We also looted a unique helmet earlier. So this one, let's have a look. This one gives you loads of magic shield. So magic shield, basically, the closest to what in other games, magic shield is like energy shield in Path of Exile, if you've played that. If you haven't played Path of Exile, it's basically like an extra layer over your health, which regenerates very fast. But it only regenerates kind of if you haven't taken damage in a certain amount of time. So in Talus, if you haven't taken damage in the past 4 seconds, you regenerate your magic shield very quickly. So it's something you can rely on if you're out of combat, if you can run away, keep your distance from enemies. But it's not going to keep you alive if you're like, boxed and surrounded by enemies. Anyway, this also gives us quite a lot of like mana regeneration and stuff and more mana. So we probably are going to pick that up. You can see the magic shield regenerating here over the character. That should give us quite a lot of survivability. So let's pick that one up. Let's pick up the next quest from the NPC. And basically the quest, again, it's like I said, I'm not really going to talk about the quest because they're not ready yet. They're not done. Basically, he tells us to go investigate a section west of town. And just before we go and continue, there's a couple of items I wanted to pick up from the stash that I saved for myself earlier. We're going to switch to a poison damage over time build for the next section, just so I can showcase a different build that I think is quite fun. And those unique items allow for some special interactions. So let's unassign the skills we've assigned so far. We don't need this aura at the moment. Let's unassign that one. And we don't need this basic attack ability, so we're going to assign a different basic attack, which is Poison Dart. So this shoots a poisonous dart at your target enemy, applying poison, which is a damage over time effect. Yeah, so just going to put some points in here, nothing major. And the aura that goes well with poison is called Pestilence, which gives you increased poison damage and also poisons a random enemy every 2 seconds. And again, you can only have one aura active at a time, so we have to unassign Ember Storm. And here we're going to just put a couple of points in here. And the key talent of Pestilence is this one. This is enemies spread contagion on death. This means that when a poisoned enemy dies, its poison stacks are applied to another nearby enemy. So this is very, very strong. It basically just allows you to like clear full screens of enemies with the poison stacks. I left this item earlier for myself, which has a unique effect of contagion spread to an additional enemy. But I think we're probably going to skip that one for now because that actually makes it very strong at this level, and it's going to be quite silly seeing me just blow up whole screen. So actually probably going to skip this item, but this item is very good. This item is Poison Dart, shoots an additional enemy near your target. So basically when we assign this new basic attack Poison Dart, you'll notice that we fire in 2 poison darts as long as there's 2 enemies in range. So that one is pretty cool. I really like poison builds. I always like damage over time builds in all video games, such as this one, like action RPGs. So yeah, I figured we'll show you a poison build, and yeah, let's go into the next section and explore a bit more. Oh, there's a lot of monsters here straight away. That's maybe a little bit too many, so I'll probably have to take a look at that. Oh, I think it might be too much. Okay, to escape. That was too much damage, so let's regenerate a little bit and maybe try again, or maybe we should just die. Yeah, let's just die. And yeah, this spawned the enemies better, but right, okay. You know what? Let's just keep going like this. So you can see my poison dart shoots at a couple of enemies, and the poisons are spreading. So when an enemy dies, it also the poisons are spread to a nearby enemy, and then that allows for like quite effective clear. So yeah, we just at this next section we have to go through it and basically investigate this sort of new zone. There's a couple more zones that I want to show you, so hopefully we can go through this one and the next one. And we have some rare boots, so let's quickly take a look at those. What do we have? 5% all resistance. Yeah, 7% armor. Those are probably better than what we already have, so we're going to switch those. And let's keep going. Let's keep exploring this little area. Yeah, we have quite a strong rare monsters here. He's the immobilized again, so it kind of stops me from moving. Let's see. Oh, something quite cool, I think, at least, is you can pause the game while you're playing. So, you know, you can pause quickly and then analyze the situation, decide where you want to go. If you want to go to the left, right, whatever. You can also use that to see all your debuffs that you're on you. So at the moment we have bleeding and we have poison, so you can sort of always just pause the game and figure out what's dealing damage to you if you don't know. That's another little cool thing. For example, bleeding, it's physical damage over time. You take extra bleeding damage when moving, so if you stand still, you take less bleeding damage. And also you have reduced armor and health regeneration while bleeding is active. As you can see, the models of the monsters obviously are pretty basic. Like, I don't expect any of these monster models to be in such a way, obviously when the game releases, I've mentioned that before, but you know, I had to get something in there just to showcase. We've gotten a unique shield, which is for warriors and mages, so we're not going to be able to equip that. It's a pretty cool one. It has some thorns on it. It has block chances lucky, which means that if you roll for block and you fail the roll, then it rolls again. Basically, you've got twice the chance to actually roll a block. You also have a crit chances lucky on some other items as well to help you with your crit chance. Okay. See if we can get away. Here, there's quite a lot of monsters. I think we'll have to work on the density of some of these places for sure. I mean, it's pretty crazy for like a level 2 zone, right? There's a lot of monsters, so I'll have to take a look at that. But you know, it's manageable, right? There's lots to do, lots to kill. If you have a solid build, you know, it's not too bad. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to make these kind of devlogs every 2-3 weeks or so. So if there's anything you'd like to know about the game, you know, first of all, like I mentioned already, you know, you should join the Discord because I'm, you know, obviously very active there. If you have any questions, more than happy to answer anything. But otherwise, you can just ask questions in the comments on this video as well. I'll be happy to answer. And yeah, let me know what you'd like to see. Like I mentioned, Devlog 2 is probably going to be on crafting. But if there's something else you'd like me to talk about, then let me know in the comments. I'll try to make a video. You know, there's going to be end game grinds. There's going to be like replayable dungeons at the end, which we can cover at some point, and stuff like that. Here we have a. This is interesting. For the first time, we've actually spawned something I call extra content. So there are a few things which are basically extra content, which have a chance to spawn on each zone, and they have like a special effect. So something like a shrine. We have shrines which spawn. We have like vanishing chests, which are kind of like loot goblins, which you have to kill in a certain amount of time before they disappear. And what we have here is a monster totem, and this spawns waves of enemies, and then you get a certain reward for that. This one, we can have a read. So this one says enemies drop gold only, so you don't get any items, and enemies drop 10 times as much gold as usual. And the top totem spawns 5 waves of enemies and 6 enemies per wave. So this will spawn 30 enemies total, and we'll get gold as if 300 enemies spawn, basically. So we can take a look at that. You trigger it by sort of walking into it. So as you can see, it spawns 6 enemies in the first wave. Now we have 6 more enemies spawning right there. It seems like it's going to be a little bit overwhelming, so we're going to take a step back so we don't actually die. Okay. All right. I think we should be okay. got to be careful for like getting a crit. I would not want to die while I'm doing a devlog. That would be pretty embarrassing. I survived. And you can see like quite a lot of gold dropped, like 10, 12,000. That's quite a lot at this level. So yeah, that you have different monster totems. You have totems which drop unique items. You have totems which drop gemstones. You have totems which grant increased experience, stuff like that. And there's other types of extra content as well. So we've reached the next level. This is going to be the final level I show you. And in here we're going to have to kill a special unique enemy. And I think I might die. Yeah. Okay. It's not a big deal because at this point, dying in the game is just basically puts you at the start of the level, which is going to put me right here. So we're just going to be able to restart on full health and try again. Let's just try again. And try to kill those. And here you have a waypoint as well. So like I mentioned before, we can try it out actually. So here's the way. Oh, I died again. I think what killed me here? I think this rat killed me here. It's got physical enchanted, which means it does a lot more physical damage, which usually is its basic attack. So if that is in range with you, this extra physical enchanted is going to deal a lot of damage. I think I was like 2-shot there, so something to keep in mind. Anyway, like I mentioned, not a big deal at this point because we closed the spawning point. They can just keep going. Oh, here we have a vanishing chest, by the way. We're probably not going to be able to kill it. I think we're too weak, but you can have a look what it is. So basically, this is another piece of this extra content. So it vanishes 10 seconds after taking damage, and it drops rare treasure on death. So at the moment, I don't think I have enough damage, so I can try attacking it, but you're just going to see that it's going to disappear in a moment. Yep, it just disappeared because we didn't kill it fast enough. That's another little bit of extra content that spawns in the game. There we killed a monster that had a loot goblin modifier, which means it drops a lot more items. So we dropped another little unique item called Earth Shaker. We can take a look at that in a second. And we've also dropped Winter's Wrath here, so we can take a look at those if you want. So Winter's Wrath is a converting item for a warrior, which converts all your damage to cold damage. And also allows you for enemies to shatter on death, which means when they die, they like explode with icicles all around them, dealing damage in nearby enemies. Here we have Earth Shaker, which is a unique item for warrior, which improves its heavy strike ability, which obviously we haven't seen yet. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the waypoint if you want. So basically go to waypoint and you can just go, bam, you're back in Nullhaven. Bam, you go to Abandoned Quarry and we're back. And all the monsters have respawned because the zone has reset. So obviously now we have to kill them quickly again. Oh, here we have a shrine. That's something we can now talk about as well. This is basically another piece of extra content, a shrine. This one, unused, grants temporary boost to health, mana, and magic shield regeneration. So we're going to pop that because we barely have any health. Ah, and we died again. Let's keep going. The shrine persists through death. So you can see here in the top left, we have the Shrine of Regeneration buff. And yeah, let's play a little bit safer, I guess, to stop dying so much. I'll definitely have to tone down some of the damage on those monsters. You know, the game is not balanced yet, right? I'm just the balancing will come when the game's closer to be ready to release. For now, I'm focusing mostly on mechanics and stuff like that, and systems. You know, the class design, stuff like that. So obviously, the balance and art are the two things that I'm not really worried about too much just yet, because those things are quite easily fixed, you know, later on in the game's life cycle. Let's kill all of the monsters here. And then we're going to kill a unique monster. There's a special unique monster called Corrupted Rat, and basically killing that monster progresses your quest to the next section, and that's probably the last bit I'm going to show you today. So let's just get there. He's just here to the left in a moment. So I'm just going to kill off everything here so we can take a look at the Corrupted Rat. It looks exactly the same as the other model of the rats. Oh, hang on a minute. Ah, damn it. Let's go there quickly again. Oh, you can hide all the loot with X, by the way. There's an X toggle, so if you don't want to see it, you can hide all the loot. And obviously, a loot filter is also something that's a big ticket for me to implement in the future, so that, you know, you don't even see these items which you're not interested in. there's the corrupted rat on the left, this guy. You can see it's a unique monster. It basically just has more health than other enemies. So we're just going to kill that one. That'll allow us to progress the quest and finish this devlog number 1. Cool, that's killed. We've progressed the quest. So we can go back to Nilhaven, talk to the village elder, and then we can move on. At this point in the game, when you kill the corrupted rat, you get a little tutorial, which I've hidden for now, but you can now use a portal, which you trigger with T, and it's a little thing that's charging there, and bam, from anywhere in the game, it'll take you to the closest town. So we've done the quest. We finished it. We get a quest reward of +1 skill point. And this will be it. This is all I wanted to show you in this devlog number 1. This is basically the first, 20-ish minutes of the game. This is maybe 25% of Act 1. So this is going to be Act 1. It's sort of desert city, desert land. I think when the game releases, I'm aiming for 3 or 4 acts. And then over time, obviously, I'll be adding more sort of side content, side endgame content, stuff like that. So anyway, that's what I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will just repeat it once more. All the artwork is, placeholder. I am looking to hire a pixel artist. So if you know someone, let me know. And also we have a Discord server where we discuss this game daily. If you want to contribute towards like balancing and design, or you want to test the game, that's where all the testers are. Feel free to join the server. Yeah, happy to have you there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you can see what I'm trying to do with this game. Because it's definitely a passion project of mine. I love games like action RPGs like Diablo and Path of Exile, and obviously I love Tibia, and this is going to be like a mix of that. It's going to clearly, the game feels and kind of moves, and the combat is quite similar to Tibia, but obviously the gameplay system with the way items are created and the quests and stuff and the skill tree and stuff is much more like an action RPG. Anyway, I don't want to make the video too long, so that'll be all for today. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Check out Talus on Steam. Please consider wishlisting, as that does help the Steam algorithm to, get the game out there. Would appreciate that so much. And yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions at all, shoot away and I'll be happy to answer. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.